Hello, back on the travels. Alright, so I'm super stressing out because dyno's tomorrow, as you know, and I have shitloads to do. My cams haven't rocked up, my turbo hasn't rocked up, and I don't have fittings for my fuel rail, or even know where to buy a fuel line from to make the sort of in-bay fuel setup. So what I've done is I've just gone back to Satoshi's, and I'm not sure what his worker's name is. I need to find out what his worker's name is. Satoshi wasn't there. And I said, do you have some 90-degree like AN6 to barb fittings so that I can run fuel line from my fuel rail to my fuel pressure regulator, and then also from my fuel filter to the fuel rail? And he's like, oh, I don't think we have any of that here. So we scrummaged around the shop, and he found a lot of fittings that go to TEF, but could only find like 190, and then all the rest are straights. I'm like, well, that's not gonna work, because if I do that, then I can't run the barb fittings in the reg. I'd need to run the AN6 fittings that also come with the reg, and then I need more fittings for the Teflon line. And he was like, oh yeah, no, that's not gonna work. I was like, yeah, because he's like, we don't have any of that, any more fittings. I'm like, yeah. So then he scrummaged around the shop, we got some stuff. So this is what I was looking for. 2 of those would have been great. However, we couldn't get 2 of those. So this is what we got. Which is like AN6 90 to AN6 also, female to female. A male AN6 into that, with a male AN6 out of that to a female AN6 to barb 5/16. So that's what we got. It'll work. Alright, let's go put this car back together. Alright, back in the shed. Back with all the things I need. I think. I highly doubt it. Let's keep going on with this thing. So, head, ready to go. Block, ready to go. Everything ready to go back together. Head gasket that I ordered from Up Garage. Let's open that up and have a look at that. Alright, I've just opened it up so you guys can kind of see what the inside of some packing looks like from Up Garage. I'll send you invoice in this. Here's the gasket of heads. Let's open that up. Alright, now I've just opened that up. There she is. I think it was a Tomei gasket, but I can't remember now. I actually ordered this before I sort of headed back to Australia to get some stuff done there. Does it have any markings on it? None. Maybe it's not a metal. Maybe it's not a Tomei one, because Tomei one's usually written Tomei on there for memory. No idea. Alright. I usually Hylamar those or copper spray them before I put them on, but I have nothing here. And all the gaskets I've used, they don't recommend to do that. But with SRs, they forever leak like out of the front timing cover. So what I like to do is smear a little bit of sort of gasket goo on there and there before I sort of put it on. That way it kind of makes sure it does seal. So I'll do that and start putting it all back together. Alright, so these are all the parts I'm putting in the car. Fuel rail, 980cc injectors, they're the fittings and wiring for the fuel rail. This is a SARD 290 litre fuel pump. Head gasket, head studs, 4 to 5 stud bolt-on spacers, front caster arms. Let's keep going. Alright, should we try watch me lift this on? Spina bifida, here we come. Alright, heads on, heads all torqued up. Now that that's done, I'll put everything back together. Lifters back in, shims back on top of the valve spring retainers. Cams in, cam caps on, everything torqued up. Set the cam angle sensor. If you are doing this, do not forget that bolt there and that bolt there. The amount of times I've forgotten those bolts is ridiculous. The back of your head is ridiculous. There's also two bolts, one there. Don't know if you can see that one. I don't know if I can see it. Yeah, there it is. And one also at the back of the head, but you don't really need to worry about them because you bolt them in at any time. If you forget those two and you put the cams in, you will not be able to put them in. And you might think, oh, I just won't put them in because the rest of the head's sealed and the front timing cover won't leak. It will. It will fucking leak. Trust me, I've done it. Trust me. Don't forget those bolts, I'm telling you. Alright, so it's all back together. You know what's really annoying? It's not in time. Sick. Alright, so we're at TDC on the crank. And I'll show you how to time these things, only because I've done it a million times. You should be able to count 8.5 links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. That's where we should be. Right here. We're a tooth out. And then there should be 20 links in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we're out. Not ideal. Alright, let's pull it all back apart. Alright, well, good news, the car still runs. So basically I was going to pull the rail out and start putting a new rail in, but I was like, oh, I better make sure it starts and runs before I do that. Because obviously I've just had the head off, everything off, but it's sort of running. Sounds fine, revving a little bit high because obviously there's no intake or anything on it. So now I'm basically going to move the Hikers line because it gets in the way when I try to put the thicker rad in, Phoenix rad. So I will move that line out of the way, put the new clutch fan on, put the fan shroud on the Phoenix rad, put it in, and then that way I'll know where I need to sort of clearance I have to make cooler piping. I'll make the cooler piping up, have that all connected, then rad and intercooler will be brand new Phoenix stuff. I think I've got my intercooler behind here. Yep. Sick. And then I don't have anything for my oil cooler yet, but I will get some stuff. I won't get that in tonight, or I'm not sure when I'm going to put it in, but yeah. Rad in, intercooler on, intercooler piping done, and then I'll do the fuel rail, fuel pump. There's a large list. There's lots to go. All right, let's get into it. All right, rad's in. Intercooler's mocked up. I've just marked or started to make a mount for it, and I've just bent up this bit of bar, drilled some holes in it, but I couldn't be bothered getting my bottle out of the back of the truck, so I've left my bottle in there, turned my generator on there, turned the welder on there. I've marked this, and I'm going to take this off the car, go weld it over there. It is 12. I need to be at the dyno at 11, so I have 11 hours. I don't know how much sleep we're getting tonight, guys. Alright. Just modified this cooler pipe, had to make a cut down the bottom and sort of rotate it in, and I've just modified this cooler pipe, had to make a cut just there and kind of like take a pie out of it to actually sort of give it some angle sort of this way to like upwards, because it was like 2 down, so I needed to go like that. Now I've made that work. I mean, it looks tidier, but holy shit, this battery tray is like not a battery tray anymore after welding all the front end together, and I cut a little bit of that out. I've realized that I've made that super weak, so I'm gonna have to do something there, otherwise my battery's just gonna fucking fall through the floor. So that's that side done. It's almost 2 o'clock. Gotta be at the dyno at 11, so we're running out of time, but let's cut this other cooler pipe up, get it done, get it on, and then still fucking so much to do. fuel rail, fuel pressure reg, fuel pump, and then repin the ECU because the plug I have for the F-con is for an S14 Series 2. Yeah, I'm tired of shit. It is hot as fuck and humid as in here, so let's keep going. Alright, so when I've got my new Phoenix rad, they sent me out some hoses, which is sick, and I was like, oh, pity I'm going to have to cut it for this. But the Phoenix rad actually comes with a welded in bung for your water temp sensor, which should be like 1/8 NPT. I'd imagine for all their radiators. I'm not sure if they do all of them, but how much better does that black pipe look compared to this with that in it? Stoked. Now I'll put the black bottom pipe on and then connect up this boost tee, and then I'll start it, make sure it all runs, make sure there's no leaks, and then we'll chuck the fuel rail in and the fuel pump and the fuel pressure reg, and then we still need to repin the ECU, but then I think we're done. What time is it? Oh, 2:40. Let's keep going. 3 a.m. Sitting down because I need a rest. Thinking I'm going to go to sleep. Set my alarm for like 7. Should probably just stay up, to be honest. Like, the best part about staying up is you can just keep going until it's done. Whereas if I wake up at 7 and I can't get everything done by 10:30, then I'll let Satoshi down by not being there at 11. So maybe I'll just stay up. I'm fucking wrecked though, so I don't really feel like I'm making much progress anymore. Yeah, alright, I'm going to sleep. See you in the morning. Stoked with how that looks. Intercooler piping modified up nicely. Radiator's in, bottom radiator hose is on, top radiator hose is on. Probably start it up now, make sure everything's good, and then fuel system in the morning. Alright, let's go to sleep.